Hang on to your butts, kids, because the new back half season of Invincible, so Invincible Season 2 Part 2, has begun, and it started with a bang. Let's not wait one more minute. Let's get into it. What's up, my know-it-alls? All right, so the new season of Invincible, or rather, the new season continues now with Invincible Season 2, Episode 5, which sees Mark return home, and then a slew of other things happen, and it's all there. They pack so much into this episode. Anybody who's familiar with the comic books, that one thing that that Robert Kirkman did was he really crams a lot into a story, and this is by no way, shape, or form any different. So the episode starts with Mark still away on that planet. He's helped them rebuild after Nolan was taken by the Viltrumites. It's a whole thing, and as he's helping them rebuild, it has now been about 2 months that he's been there. And while being there for 2 months, the Nolan's new wife, the queen of the planet, comes up and she's got the baby, and she says, look, your ship is ready. You need to go home. And she says, and I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take your brother with you.
Home to Earth. What? What are you talking about? You're his mom.
So Mark has to bring him home, all because the rest of that race ages so fast that by the time he grows up, or is even a teenager, him being the boy, he's clearly going to outlive almost everybody. Like literally when she's talking to him, 2 months has passed and she's like, Mark, thank you so much for helping this. She's a little old lady, very decrepit. It's funny. It's hilarious. Because you stop and sit here, you go, oh, okay, I get it. It's a neat story point that I think it really underlines everything going on at that point. So then Mark makes it home. And when he goes home, he's got to tell his mother the truth. He's got to face everybody. He's got to face his mother. He's got to face his girlfriend. And then he has to face Cecil. Yeah, Cecil's a complete raw. He's terrible. Anyway, so Cecil basically tells him, look, I've sent a special team to go get the kid. And he's like, no, you can't have the kid. And he's like, look, I'll go back to work, whatever else, this and that. So he goes back to college and he meets with his girlfriend. And it's been 2 months. He has to explain stuff. Their relationship is going to begin to get strained, not because of the fact that she can't accept what's going on, but it's because of the fact that how do you live with these kind of jumps happening in your relationship, with big holes in your life, so to speak. And so it's one of those things you stop and go, okay, I get where they're trying to go with this. At least, I more or less do. It's essentially the same idea as, remember Superman with Clark Kent, but also Peter Parker, Spider-Man, in that you have to find a way to juggle real life with superhero life and your secret identity. The problem is, this very intelligently Robert Kirkman asks the question through this narrative, do you? So, it isn't that it doesn't work, it's just that why? Why do you need to? Like, seriously. I think the answer is you don't. I think at some point he has to choose to become a full-time superhero. Right now, this whole secret identity aspect to his life it's really more of a burden than the act of being a hero. Seriously. So I feel like when you're dealing with the entirety of this story, you have to kind of take each piece as it comes. And one of the major parts of this whole thing is that Mark has to realize that clearly the Viltrumites have his father. Clearly, they're coming to Earth at some point very soon. He's also got to deal with his brother's situation. Like, again, there are so many pieces that I'm not even surprised they don't revisit the big Brainiac villain guy. They don't revisit him at all because who has the time? When it comes down to it, we jump back to GD. We jump back to the Secret Service people or whatever, the government people, Cecil's people, and there's a brief bit where Cecil has to deal with his assistant guy discovering that he's got the body of a robot, but it's his brain in it. That is such a footnote that's one of those storylines that felt really shoehorned in just to kind of have some kind of resolution at this point. But then you move forward in that whole idea, and they're detecting an alien ship coming from Mars. Now, by this point, most everybody knows that the Shapesmith is actually a Martian. I think Black Hercules, I think Black Hercules is his name. He is the last guy to know. And so literally Cecil says, okay, we've all got to go, but it's got to be people who can't get affected. Obviously, Shapesmith, we were talking about, I was going to say Abraham Lincoln. It is Abraham Lincoln, but we're talking about the Immortal. You're talking about Monster Girl. You're talking about Robot. You're talking about Mark, obviously, so Invincible. I think Discount Invincible. I forget what his name is. The black guy who wears the uniform that Invincible first had or tried on. And then Rex has the brilliant idea, what if we call in Eve? And Eve is like, and he talks her into it. It's really actually kind of not touching, but it's a moment, if you will. And so like, it's so funny because the episode was so packed, but they still had time to do this really crazy little mini music montage that felt like it was such a callback to the 90s era, like 90s TV. Like she's sitting here listening, there's this 90s music song playing. It may as well be a Sarah McLachlan song for all it's worth.
Skipping stones out on the shore. Still not sure what you are.
She goes into her room and there's Dude, Rex, and they have a conversation. It's very heartfelt. She's convinced to come. They go. Meanwhile, Mark has to now tell his girlfriend, I'm leaving again. This is, I believe, building up to the eventual breakup of that relationship. That isn't spoilers, as in like, I know things from the comics. That's just logically where you see this thing going. And yes, that is actually very much how the comics work out. So for those of you playing at home. So then what you end up with is one team goes into space. Rex, Duplicate, and the Incredible Shrinking Girl, I don't actually remember her name fully, but they stay. And while they're there, right then, the Snake crew from like 2 episodes back decides that they want to get their revenge and they attack a thing. So Rex, Duplicate, and Incredible Shrinking Girl have to all go back and they have to fight. And it's rough. It is a meat grinder. It finally manages to end with them somewhat successful, but man, it is not pretty the way it goes down. So then we're back on the ship with Mark and everybody, and they're all facing that one Martian guy, or the alien starfish brain things. Discount Starro. Exactly. And so he's literally like so each of them is trying to cover something. So what's his face? Robot uses a sonic thing that disorients them. And he realizes, and that's when Eve creates a shield around them. And Dude says, Robot's like, hang on, I need 5 minutes. You guys got to take it for 5 minutes so I can amplify the signal, thus giving us more opportunity to be able to knock these guys out. This is going to be a rough fight. Absolutely, it's going to be a rough fight. All that said, I like where they're going, but man, they packed a whole lot. So there you go. Now you know, and running half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. What's the know-it-all index for this episode for Invincible Season 2, Part 2, Episode 5? I think I like it. I like it a lot. I would have myself liked to have given the story a little bit more room to breathe in other areas, but overall, I would say this gets a 7.5 out of 10. So let me know what you think. Comment below. What did you think of this episode? Were you excited for it? Are you thrilled that the show is back? I know I, for one, have already heard that the voice actors have done all their voicing for Season 3. So for sure, this thing is moving forward, this particular train. I know that I've enjoyed it. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Comment below and let's keep the discussion going. I cannot wait. I will see you next week. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.